MDBarnmaster. You've heard the name before. Tonight, for the first time on RFD-TV Live, you're going to meet the people behind the production of these buildings, the people who market them, and we're going to meet some satisfied customers who own an MDBarnmaster barn. Horse owners, you know you've been looking for a barn that's kick-proof, chew-proof, and darn near fire-proof. Well, you're looking at it. Here it is. It's an MDBarnmaster barn. And stay tuned, viewers, all of you. Later this hour, you'll learn about a special offer only for people watching RFD-TV Live tonight. Good evening and welcome to RFD-TV Live. I'm Mark Oppold. Always a pleasure to welcome a new partner to our network. And tonight, I have that opportunity. Joining me in studio tonight to talk about MDBarnmaster barns, our panel. Let's introduce them to you. Bruce Thomas, CEO of MDBarnmaster. Next to Bruce is Dick Zarbach. He's a MDBarnmaster dealer from Arizona. And Al Dunning, a world champion. You equine people know all about Al, a champion horseman and owner of a MDBarnmaster barn as well. So welcome to all of you to RFD-TV Live.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Before we get started and learn about these great buildings here, Bruce, start with you, and I want to share with our viewers a little bit about you and your background. Quite a story of how all this came about.
All right. Well, first, I'd like to thank you for the hospitality you've shown us and let you know that we're really excited to present our product to the RFD-TV viewers.
Great. Good to have you here.
Well, thank you. And about myself, I actually grew up outside of Salem, Oregon, in a place called Polk County, Oregon. My dad bought some land out of town, and we had a little horse farm. It was mostly my sister's horses. So my introduction to horses started at a young age, although it wasn't all that great. I remember a lot of one-way trips. We'd ride out and walk back. Yeah. But through the years, I worked on a lot of farms in that area. But then I went to college, went to law school, actually, and got a job, moved to the city, worked for a big law firm. After about 10 years of that, I had the opportunity to work with my own tribe in Oregon. I'm a member of an Indian tribe in Oregon. Mm-hmm. And it was a casino project. So very quickly, I learned about developing casinos, put together a team. And to get closer to that job, I bought some property out in the country again. And ended up with horses again because I had a 7-year-old daughter, and I bought her a pony. And it's kind of the common story. I ended up buying myself a horse. And that started me off on horsemanship. And my career, I ended up actually working with several tribes on economic development projects, including a tribe in Northern California called the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians, which I know it's kind of a mouthful. Small tribe in Northern California, rural. And we helped them with their casino project, and they are very, very kind people, supportive, they're appreciative, very business-oriented. So we stayed on, and I've been there now with my entire team. I've been there for 11 years.
Wow.
The tribe used actually the capital from their casino, some of their profits, to do other economic development. They're very forward-thinking. They have bought businesses, including the construction companies and some real estate investments and other businesses, and I help them with that. My introduction to MDBarnmaster actually came personally because when I moved down there to work, I moved my horses and I needed some horse housing fast.
Yeah.
So there was a Barnmaster dealer in the town that we moved to, Corning, California. So I bought a building. It worked great for me. A few years later, the tribe needed a building for storage of banquet supplies and so forth. So Barnmaster was the obvious choice for that building. Not horse housing, but it worked great for that. It went up fast. It was very affordable, very attractive. So we bought a couple of buildings, and a couple of years later, I was approached by that same dealer. He knew that we were interested in economic development projects, so he came to me and mentioned that MD and Barnmaster were for sale. So I knew the brand, I knew the quality product, so I discussed it with the tribe, and they were excited about it. We ended up acquiring the company.
And that's just been about a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago,
wow.
That's right.
What a year and a half it's been already.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've developed new products. We've increased the business by 50% over the previous year from our purchase, so it's been a great experience.
Adding dealers and moving across them, adding more.
Yes, that's right.
Watching tonight might be a next dealer, but yeah, everything's growing in a hurry.
Right.
We're going to get back to that and talk about the buildings, but thanks, Dick. Let's talk about Dick Zarbach here, a dealer, Arizona, but that's not home for you originally.
No, sir. Mark, I actually grew up in a farm community in Fort Morgan, Colorado. Grew up on the farm until I graduated high school. From that point forward, I went to the military. Came home from that, and believe it or not, I wound up in the cookware business. And we sold cookware by cooking dinners for people. And as the years went by, I spent 19 years in that business, just giving cookware dinner demonstrations. And one day, I wound up cooking a dinner for some people, and which was very unlikely to happen, but I went out the next day to do my appointments from that dinner and didn't sell any cookware. And I couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
Because normally people bought the cookware. So, but anyway, at the end, the host and hostess of that dinner, actually, I asked them, I said, what did I do wrong? And they said, well, Dick, you didn't do anything wrong, but we want to talk to you about something. We had a little meeting last night after your program, and we decided that if anybody at that dinner bought something from you, we probably wouldn't have the chance to hire you into our business, and we'd like to see you selling barns.
How about that?
And that's been 30 years ago.
Oh, my.
So,
how about that? And we'll get back. You've got a great perspective from a dealer here, and the dealer, how important it is, and how sound and maintenance-free these barns are. So it's good to have you here. We'll learn more about that in just a minute.
well, thank you.
All right. Al Dunning, I tell you what, you should be sitting here, and we talk about horses. A champion, a world champion horseman. We could go on and on. 35 world champions here, but for people that are seeing you, maybe you've been on a lot of TV programs, but let's talk about that background that maybe some are not as aware of.
Well, I grew up in Arizona, and my sisters were involved with horses first, and I sort of just hung around as a little kid. Well, about the time I was 10, I got a little more involved, and by the time I was 12, I got to showing horses. And, you know, I just involved with horses from that point forward, showing. Matter of fact, that was exactly 50 years ago today. So when I started, well, not really today, but you know how it goes.
This time,
But you know, through that time, you know, I got interested in horses more and more. And one day I was sitting in class at Arizona State University, and I got to thinking, and the class was one of those boring ones, you know, like Introduction to Music or something like that. And I said, you know, really the only thing I'm good at is training horses. So left the books on the table, which wasn't very smart, but I walked outside, and it worked, you know. So I called my mom up, and I told her what I was going to do, and she gave me a box full of bills, said, if you're going to go ahead, you're going to make it on your own. So, and at that same time, I asked my wife that I've been married to now for 41 years, Becky, if she'd marry me. So, you know, I kind of decided my career path at that time, and you know, it's just gone on from then. And you know, I've got diversified. I've trained about every kind of horse you can train, and I've showed at all the big shows, especially that the quarter horses have to offer. And I've done reining and cutting and working cow horse, especially those, and showed a lot of AQHA shows and such. I was honored to be Professional Horseman of the Year in '96, and I've had some other honors that I'm real proud of too.
absolutely.
So.
And we would tell the viewers that you've written several books that you're proud of as well, and can certainly help people in the equine business here.
Well, thanks.
So.
You know, the first one I got to do was the book called Reining with Western Horsemen, and you know, it sold several 100,000 copies, so I was real proud of that. And then I did a book called The Ultimate Level of Horsemanship that came out last year with Western Horsemen, or year before last. And then my new book will be out this year in October. It's going to be called The Art of Hackamore Training. And Benny Gatrone and I collaborated to do this book, but it'll be the first book written about hackamore training since 1950 when Ed Cannell did it. So, and it should be a book that people really enjoy.
Well, we're going to get a closer look at your ranch out there in Arizona. We talk about the MDBarnmaster barn. You're a proud owner, and so we are going to go to Arizona here now and meet again Al Dunning at the farm in front of these great buildings. Here's Al.
I'm proud to have MDBarnmaster as an official Al Dunning sponsor. When I built my new ranch 13 years ago, I chose MD Barns as the barn I wanted to have. You know, there's several things I like about MD Barns. A couple of them are the 0% fire spread rating. The other is the kick-through proof warranty. Those are both amazing. These are the safest barns out there, and they can save your horse's life. MDBarnmaster has 30 years of experience, and they continue to improve their products. The all-new MDBarnmaster Elite stall fronts are beautiful, with performance coatings and exotic hardwoods. Quality customer service and craftsmanship shows in the final product. That's what makes them the leader in the barn building industry. The barns you represent are functional, low maintenance, versatile, and most of all, safe.
Beautiful, beautiful buildings. What a great setting out there, Al. We'll come back and talk more about that a little bit. But
Thank
Bruce,
you.
let's talk about MDBarnmaster here. Get started and tell us more about the company and the great MDBarnmaster barns.
All right. Well, MD and Barnmaster are names that have been around for about 30 years. And we have, I think the company overall has over 200,000 barns built.
Is that right?
So it's a major factor in the equine industry. We're the leading seller actually in big installations, racetracks, show facilities. We just installed 200 stalls at a beautiful facility in Wellington, Florida, International Equestrian Center. And a lot of the leading trainers in the industry use our barns, including Al and a lot of others.
Go ahead.
Well, what drew me to the product and what we're really proud of about the product is that it really is specifically designed for the safety and health of horses. And the way the barns are constructed and the way they go together, they're very affordable. So in addition to being leading in safety, they're really available for everybody. Mm-hmm. And they can also be beautiful and match the quality of any property. So it's a very versatile product. We're excited. We've been making additions to the product and so forth in the last year and a half, and it's just worked out great, and we're really excited to introduce it to more people.
Right, tonight. And in fact, you called it a building system. I like the way you said that earlier. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that.
Right, it is a building system. Now, a lot of people who buy our buildings, they come in components as a modular barn, and they're perfectly happy to put them up as they are and use them exactly as they are, and they're very attractive, and that's probably 80 but 90% of our buildings. Mm-hmm. But it really is a building system, so once it's erected, you can make it look any way you want. We have wood buildings, we have stucco buildings, we have anything that the customer wants. So that's really what we do, is you tell us what you want, how you want it to look, and we'll make it that way. And
in fact, we've got a lot of horse people here, some world champion horsemen here, and Dick as well, a big background there, a long time in horses. But there are other uses. Oh, yeah. We don't want to leave people out from the very beginning of the show. In fact, your tribe put a warehouse that they stored tables and chairs, but right. Maybe just some of the quick other uses that we might be considering right. Here tonight.
Really, it's the customers who have the creative uses that come forward, and we've built zoos. They've got giraffes in them and zebras and everything else. We've done all kinds of storage facilities, helicopters, a lot of RVs. They're a tough building. They're built to withstand the punishment that a horse can deliver, but they'll also withstand driving your vehicle into it lightly and some of those things. So they're really attractive for all uses. A creative one we just heard about, we talk about that they're chew-proof, and we're kind of thinking about the horses inside the stall chewing on the inside, but we've got people buying them as mountain cabins to keep bears from chewing their way into the building, so it reduces damage to the building. There's anything you can think of. We've had beautiful buildings built for wineries and man caves and garages and storage buildings of all kinds. Yeah.
Now the facilities are available for the larger horse farms, obviously here, and you've got a long list. We can't list them all, but there are several that maybe the viewers, especially our equine folks, are going to recognize.
Sure. Most people in the racing industry, Los Alamitos and Ruidoso in New Mexico. I mentioned the one in Wellington. The U.S. Air Force Academy has our barns.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of fairgrounds. I couldn't name them all. There's with 200,000 barns, we're in a lot of installations. So, hundreds of thousands of stalls out there. A lot of fairgrounds. We go all over the world. We've sold to, Arab racehorse facilities in the Middle East. We've sold to all the European countries, Italy, Germany, England, Australia, Brazil. So horse owners all over know about MDBarnmaster.
Well, let's get a little deeper into that. Dick, you're the man who's been out there selling before cookware, after cookware. Now you can talk about these barns here. I'm glad that didn't sell that way that night.
It worked out great.
I'm sure MDBarnmaster is glad too. What I guess boiling it down, what makes these unique? Let's talk about some of the uniqueness and the benefits of these barns and really see them up close.
Well, I think I think one of the most unique things about the MDBarnmaster product is it is so versatile. You can use them for so many different things. The thing that's really unique about the barn system itself is the fire rating. It has a 0 fire rating on it. And one of the things that a lot of people probably don't realize, but just in the past year, or excuse me, the first 3 months of this year, we've lost over 101. There was 101 horses, I think, died in fires this year, within the first quarter. And of course, with the 0 fire rating that MDBarnmaster has to offer, it certainly is a much, much safer product to keep your horses in.
Putting a fire right directly on the wood here, seeing a kind of a demonstration that you're love to show, because it does show exactly that. It's a 0 fire spread rating of viewers, and getting a great demonstration of that here. And I imagine that has to make an impact on these horse owners. I mean, like you say, you have saw already 6 large barns already this year that have had fires. And also, what about what we call the rolling, your rolling roof, rolling foam rollers?
The roll form roofing system.
Form rollers,
Right. MDBarnmaster is the only company that roll forms their own roofing. And they're the only company that owns these particular rollers. And so by doing it themselves at the factory, it saves consumers money on the over-end product simply because it is a factory rolled roof.
You also talked about, and I know you talk, kick-proof, chew-proof, and talk about the kick-proof part of it here and the strength of the walls. And really, we're going to get into this a little bit later, not only are they kick-proof, but they're more protection for safety. But first of all, talk about how durable they are.
Well, they're very durable, and they're actually engineered, they're designed to flex. When a horse kicks them, it takes the impact of the energy goes into the wall system instead of up the horse's leg. And they're connected just on, in other words, the standard stall wall, and I say standard because they can be made larger, but if you think in terms of a 12-foot wall, when a horse kicks that, it just has a cushion to it, and it really protects the horse's feet, their hoofs, their legs, everything. They're just one of the safest, not one of, it's the safest barn out there. Yeah,
let's talk a little bit more about that. They are designed with the horse's safety in mind, and maybe expand on that a little bit here, and how we can maybe get into the kick-proof, chew-proof, and darn near fireproof part of it.
Well, when it comes to chewing, there's a kind of a nickname for horses, and they're called 1,000-pound termites. and they can go through wood real fast. And everything that MDBarnmaster has, their walls are encased in steel, inside of a roll form steel channel. And I don't know if this would be a good
let's
time
go
to
ahead
show
and
that.
while they're looking at some, let's pull out. Dick has kind of a little demonstration here, and brought something with him for viewers, for you to get a better idea, the durability and the safety factors here. So I'll let you just take it away.
Yeah, this is called a roll form channel, what you're looking at right here. And the nice thing about, and the unique thing about the MDBarnmaster channel is it's the only one of its kind because, again, it's roll formed at the factory. It isn't bought off the shelf from a steel building company. And when they roll form the channel, if you'll notice on the bottom, they have bridged weep holes right down under here. And what that does, it actually takes your wall, which fits inside of the roll form here, and it keeps it up about 3/8 of an inch off the base of the channel. And what that does is any moisture, whether it be from cleaning the barn, spraying it down, disinfecting it, rain from the outside, any moisture at all that gets down into the channel, it is virtually impossible for it to weep up into the wood and create wood rot. It's going to seep out the base, and everything's going to stay dry. Also, if you'll notice, so I'm going to turn this piece around real quickly, and you'll notice the roll form. What this does, anytime you bend or crimp steel, Mark, it strengthens the steel. And when this happens, there's a byproduct of it. It's not only stronger because of it, but it creates a smooth edge right along the wall. So when horses, if you picture this as being a divider wall or a front wall, and horses get back against it and start rubbing their rumps on it, you can actually walk around an MDBarnmaster barn and run your hands up and down here blindfolded and never catch a burr. As a result, when a horse does, walks around there and rubs on it, they don't lose any, I call them tail feathers. They don't rub any bald spots out on their rumps and things like that.
Yeah. So, Al, you found that the barns, besides being safety, they're very easy to care for.
Yeah, I had a advisor once tell me when I was growing up, he said, Al, if you're going to have the best horses, you have to have a great facility. And I took that to heart when I bought my first barn that I built on my new place. That was 13 years ago. During that time, I've had all kinds of happenings, horses kick hard, things like that. But one of the worst things that happened along the way was last year we had that NHV1 virus.
Right.
And, it was devastating, and like 11 horses died of that around the country. So we got into a biosecurity program there at the ranch, and we washed and disinfected these stalls. And because of the non-porous steel, the construction of this, it allowed me to be real comfortable that when we did spray these stalls down with the disinfectant, that we were truly disinfecting the stall, that it wasn't going to, no disease or anything was going to hide from this. And because of that, we didn't lose any horses. We felt comfortable, and I think our customers felt comfortable too.
And Bruce, back to the people asking, okay, are these this a kit type of a barn that we're talking about tonight?
I think, like Dick said, it's very versatile. So if what you need is a kit, then a simple, 2-stall, 4-stall, 6-stall really is. We manufacture them to your specifications, so it's what you want. The doors are where you want them. They open the way you want, how it suits you and your horses. And then when they get there, the bolts, a 12-foot wall bolts together with 6 bolts.
Correct.
So we actually had one of our employees at the tribe bought a garage from us. Couldn't find anybody to help him put it up. So with the bucket on his small tractor, he did it himself with hand tools in a weekend. So they are kind of a kit, but now, as you've seen probably from the pictures on the TV, we've also built some very sophisticated buildings. They're anything but a kit. It's a building system that could be custom modified to be any kind of a barn.
And special features, Dick, we might want to, we've seen a lot of pictures here, and there's some maybe some add-on features that viewers might consider?
Well, anything a person can conceive in their mind as far as what they want to incorporate into their barn can be done. I've been in the business a long time now, and there really hasn't been a barn that I haven't been able to produce for a customer based on what they're telling me they want. You're looking at some photographs right now of different barns that we've built, and these photographs really cover a lot of different types of people's choices. And everybody has their own ideas on what they want in their barn. And these photographs have every feature, every possible thing that a person can think of to incorporate into their barn. But it seems like as soon as I say something like that, the very next appointment, it's a whole new barn.
You got a new chapter.
And I used to get harassed a lot because I would always finish a barn, and I would say to myself, I tell you, that has got to be the most beautiful barn I've ever done. And that lasts for about a week.
Oh, there are some beautiful pictures there.
Yeah.
What about installation time? Are we talking, what are we talking about here? Time you order, maybe to the time it's on the ground and up?
Well, once a barn is ordered, and a lot of this depends on the part of the country, whether or not there's building permits required and things of this nature.
Sure.
But if there were no building permits required, and there are areas in the nation that still are rural enough to where that's the case, once a barn is ordered, it could be delivered within 6 weeks.
Okay.
If it's like a 4-stall barn, it would take our experienced crew anywhere from a day and a half to 2 full days to set it up.
Couple of days. How about that?
Yeah.
We're going to take a break in here real quick. Time is running through here, but we mentioned at the top of the show, Bruce, that we have a special offer for our RFD-TV viewers tonight. And before we go to break, let's let them know what that offer is.
All right. Like I said, we're excited about our relationship with RFD-TV and its viewers. So anybody who calls within 2 hours of the end of the show, call in, and if you end up buying a barn, we will give you a round pen with that barn.
Round pen, and there's the 800 number that we'll have up here many times here, viewers. If you don't have a piece of paper and pencil right now, we'll be giving that to you throughout the course of the show from here on. So as many callers as call, just register here tonight, the next couple of hours, and they'll be in the system, even if they don't order tonight or tomorrow or next week or next month.
Yep.
If they eventually do order from MDBarnmaster, they'll be in the system.
Sometimes it takes time. We want people to be able to take their time. But if they call in the next 2 hours, we'll offer that.
Very good.
Great.
All right, and we want you to call here and be part of our program. We're going to be opening up our telephone lines as we take our first break. Our toll-free number for you to join us live and talk to Bruce or Dick or Al is toll-free 877-731-6733. The number on the screen there. Lines are open now. We'll take our first break and come back more with our friends from MDBarnmaster coming to RFD-TV for the first time this evening with their very special offer. We thank them for that. Your telephone calls and more information about these great structures coming up on RFD-TV Live here on Rural America's most important network. Welcome back to RFD-TV Live, and for the first time, a pleasure to welcome MDBarnmaster to our program tonight, and glad you are joining us because you have a special offer coming your way. Before we get to that, let's again our toll-free number for you to join us live here now. Telephone lines are open, 877-731-6733. And before we went to break, Bruce talked about a special offer for our viewers, and again, just in case they didn't get all that, the special offer tonight only.
Tonight, for 2 hours after the show, call in, talk to the folks that are waiting for your call. If you can't get through, just leave your message, and that'll be all you need to do. We will give a free round pen with anybody who buys a barn who calls within the next 2 hours.
Very good. They'll be in the system, as we say.
That's right.
Who knows, it might be 6 months from now or longer.
Whenever they buy their barn, that's right.
All right. And you have a website. We aren't going to be able to cover everything in 1 hour here tonight, right. But you have a great website that can do a lot of that help for us.
Right. It's MDBarnmaster.com, and it does have a lot of information about the things we're covering tonight. And if you have any other questions, call us anytime you want at our office in Corning, California, and we'll chat with you. You
were very direct about that, really, to mark out if viewers can't get through tonight, or if they have any questions that we don't answer and can't get to their telephone calls, please, please, please encourage them to call that 800 number.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're open, business hours, California time. But if you call outside of that time, we will get back with you immediately the next day. So.
Customer service, very good. All right, two people, Al Dunning, Pat and Linda Parelli, very, very well. And I should have you do this interview too. But before we get to the Parellis here, they are satisfied customers and owners of an MDBarnmaster barn. Let's listen to them.
We are really proud to have MDBarnmaster as an official Parelli sponsor.
And choosing a home for our horses is something we take very personally.
Yep. And our new 12-stall barn at our Colorado campus is beautiful and it's versatile.
We especially love the revolving tack room wall and the fact that the outside wood matches our existing buildings.
We know from personal experience that you are serious when you say, if you dream it, we will build it.
At Parelli, we say good, better, best, never let it rest, and that's what we so appreciate about all of you.
So, elite customer service and craftsmanship definitely shows up in your final product.
Keep up the excellent work. We look forward to showcasing our new barn to all who visit our campus.
Visit our campus. All right. And on the telephone, Pat and Linda Parelli joining us here from Pagoda Springs, Colorado. Welcome to RFD-TV Live.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well, we're doing fine. We've got a great group here. You've seen them here, and we're glad you had a minute here to join us and talk about the special features that you have in your barn there in Colorado.
Okay, just want to mention that Linda's over in Europe right now, so you just got me tonight.
Oh, well.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Talk about you kind of indicate a little bit on the video there before, but talk about the barn you have there in Pagoda Springs.
Okay. Well, first of all, this is the very first barn I've ever been able to build from scratch. I've always had some other thing that I had to adapt to or do something like that. So it's a pretty exciting project for me. And, the you can dream it, we can build it kind of concept. I mean, I came up with the design, and Linda came up with the design for herself. Hers is in the works right now. And we were both really excited about this, feeling like, okay, this is what I want for my barn, and this is what she wanted for her barn. And some of the things I wanted, is I wanted a hayloft. Here in Colorado, I want to be able to have, in the wintertime, I want to be able to put hay up there and have it the winter. So being able to put that in was just a real easy thing. They said, hey, all we have to do is just build it a little stouter, do this, do that. So as we sat down, and basically just with a pencil and a paper, and it was pretty exciting to come back from Florida this year, because we'd spend the winters in Florida, to come back and see my barn directed. I went through the notes that I had, every single thing that I had talked about, the wood-sided so that it matched my building, the revolving door that put saddles on one side, and you just revolve it around, and now you got saddles out in your saddling area, and then at night you just turn it around, it goes back. I had one of those in California that I designed myself years ago, and I just told them what I wanted, and they just built it like that. The width of the aisleways and all that, and the wash rack, everything was just real simple and easy, and it all came together, very, very slick and very professional.
What about maintenance and easy to care for the building? We talked about here. We want to hear from you on something like that, and the safety as well for your horses.
I think the thing that impressed me about modular barns is that you can put them together very simply. They're maintenance free because you've got galvanized metal. You've got everything that's that is safety minded. The maintenance part of it is it's just built to last. I mean, I've only been using it now about a month, and everything is just working perfect. I love the latches. You pull down on the handle, and it lasts, and it undoes the latch. Something that a human can do easily, but a horse cannot do at all. The maintenance part of this, the building is obvious. We got good footings put in, from a contractor, and you can just tell that this barn is going to be 20 years from now. All the hard work's behind us.
I've got Bruce Thomas here, CEO, of course, and Dick Zarbach, and Al Dunning here, a world champion.
I know Al real well.
Any of you have a question? Al, it looks like you have a question for Pat.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Really good, Al. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you all the time when I get to see you. Hey, my MD barn, I know you've been at my place, is 13 years old now, and I'm really.
You showed it to me last fall.
Yeah, I'm very proud of how it's held up and all that stuff. So I guarantee you that you're going to love yours just as much as I love mine.
Oh, great! I'm excited about that.
Pat, what about matching? You kind of alluded to it a little bit, and one of the questions that we were going to ask about matching the other wood buildings on the farm.
Well, what we've got on our farm here are wood-sided buildings with a batten board finish on it. And so I started talking to that, and they said, hey, this is no problem. All we have to do is put our wood side on it, and you put on the batten board. And we've already started the project going up really, really easily. Remember, that's how we did our buildings, is we put our own batten board up just to make it look more Western. So it's really coming out a very, very handsome building, and very simply, simple to do. Mm-hmm. So, it's some people like Linda likes elegant. I like Western. But no matter what, it's got to be classy, mm-hmm. and that's the way it's coming out.
Well, we're going to have to let you go. We've got some. We want to talk to some other folks who want to ask questions here. And Pat, we could visit with you. You're just a great spokesman here. And but for viewers watching tonight, I guess I would say, what would you want to leave with them if they're learning about MDBarnmaster for the first time, or they've heard about it but just haven't taken that step? What would you say, especially to our horse people out there?
Well, first of all, if you really care about your horse and you really want to put the relationship first, make sure you build something that is, got safety and functional, safe and functional. Those are the two biggest things. Then put looks third. Deal with a company that's got, that are nice people and have got a good reputation. And if anybody wants to come see our barn this September 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're going to have a ribbon cutting party for that, and we're having our Savvy, what we call our Parelli Performance Summit. So we invite anybody that wants to come out and see that building, or if you're coming through this summer, come on through Pagosa Springs and we'll give you a tour.
All right, let's put that up. We're going to, again, for viewers, there we are, the Parelli Performance Summit, September 7th, 8th, and 9th. And it's September 7th. You're going to have that special ribbon cutting. Is that right?
That's exactly it.
All
so
right.
we're inviting everybody out.
Pat, thanks for your time, and appreciate it very much tonight. I know the fellas here as well. Good to hear your voice always.
Thank you, Pat.
Great
See you in
horseman.
September.
Nice to talk with you guys.
We'll
See you later, Al.
see you in September.
Okay, adios.
Pat Parelli joining us here on our program. Well, what a treat to visit and to hear that kind of, again, from someone who has been around. He's looked at a lot of barns, I'm sure, and picking the MDBarnmaster has to mean a lot to you, Bruce. Yep. Al, I want to get back to you. Something that we talked about, touched on here. We want to get a little bit more. Tell us about, you've had years now, 13 years on the farm in Arizona there. Why did you get down to choosing MDBarnmaster? For you, like Pat, could have chosen a lot of probably different ones, but in your case.
Well, like I said, I've been training professionally since 1970, and the interesting thing, the first barn I ever bought was a portastall barn, and I know Dick was involved with portastall for a while. And then when I built my first barn at my first ranch I was ever at, also, I had another quality barn that I liked a lot, but it had some defects, and I learned a lot from that. So when I finally built my new ranch on out in Rio Verde, I wanted to make sure that my money was spent wisely. I wanted it to last as long as I can last, which, I plan on lasting a while.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to build a barn that would not hold up. I wanted safety, like Pat said, and one of the things, I had some ideas. I wanted it to be my way. I wanted a middle aisleway with a T across the back so ventilation would happen. I needed a big saddling area because that's always the clogging point of the barns. And I wanted a good tack room area. And I wanted to be able to make it so that I could go in from the front, out to the back to load my trailers for the shows. So I had all these things that I had over the years had desired to have. And spending my own money, I wanted to make sure that I spent it right. And I'm thrilled with my barn, and it works great. I think that it's functional. I think it's really workable. And I think it's going to last a long time. I really have a strong feeling because in 13 years, people look at it and they still go, is this a brand new barn? I mean, it looks that good. We maintain it. We power wash it. We take care of it. We've painted it in the past. But it's a fantastic barn. And again, that idea that no matter what problems I've had, whether it's a horse that kicks, I know my barn's going to be okay. When I had the virus, I knew I could wash those stalls and it'd be okay. The aesthetics of it are good, and it's maintenance free. So I'm a horse trainer. You got that? So what I want to do, I don't want to be fixing my barn. I don't want to be dinking around. I want to be training horses. I want to go in that daggum barn, be able to open the gates right, be able to open the feeders right. I want to be able to get done, saddle my horse, and do what I do, which is train champion horses. That barn allows me to do that in a high-class manner, and I like that.
Chew-proof, kick-proof, the fireproof, we understand, darn near fireproof. Has there been an instance where that if you'd had a different wall and maybe a horse that had kicked and a little active that might have injured that horse in your barn before, if you didn't have an MDBarnmaster?
Lots of times, not just one. So,
yeah.
Horses get cast, horses get, anxious and angry in a stall situation sometimes, even as much as we exercise and turn them out, and they're going to kick. And with those walls, with that little give, I don't have any dings and hock problems and things like that because of those kicks. So I feel real comfortable with that barn has protected my horses in a lot of instances. And you know what? I never worry about fire. I just don't worry about it. I mean, we kind of have a rule nobody smokes in the barn and that kind of stuff just to be extra safe, but we just don't worry about it because we know that our horses are protected with the steel building.
Says it all. We're going to talk about the different series you have here, but we have a caller from Kansas who's been holding on here, wants to visit with one of you. Connie, thanks for holding on. Your question now for our panel here from our MDBarnmaster.
Well, hi.
Hi.
Actually, it's more of a testimonial, I guess.
I'm
kind of like everybody else. My husband and I are very happy with our barn. Dick Zarbach and Arizona MD Barnes at the
Hi,
time.
Connie.
Hi, Dick.
Yeah, what a
we had
sweetheart.
found an ad in the newspaper, Equine magazine, and so we called Dick out of the blue, and he met with us, and we were absolutely thrilled with his professionalism and concern about what we really wanted to build. And we found our home and picked out where we wanted to put the barn. And Dick led us through the whole process of permits and engineering and all the way to the finished product while we were in Kansas and he was in Arizona. So he built our barn, and we got to show up, and it was absolutely beautiful. It's small, and they have built so many large barns, but he made us feel like our little barn was just as important to him as the great big barns that he's built. So we were very thrilled that they took the time and concern to find exactly what we wanted, and we had a stucco cinder block wall that they cut through to build the barn and set it in, and it looks like it's been there forever. So that's really what I wanted to say. And if we ever built another barn, Dick and Tammy would be the ones to build it.
Well, how can you say to that here?
Well, Connie, golly, thank you so much. Thank you
Usually
so
hard
much.
to live with.
Yeah.
I'm going to be giving autographs before I leave here tonight.
But those are the kind of questions that you're, and she gives, and Connie is gone here, but it kind of talks about the dealer, how important they are, and you're going to walk, and other dealers just like you across the country are going to walk through step by step what the customer, you're not going to try to sell them a box if they want a box with a hole in one end of it.
You're exactly right, Mark. When we get a phone call and we schedule our first appointment with a customer, and I think this is something that all dealers do, and if not, they should do. We like to take them on a tour, and we have customers that. All of our customers allow us just to bring people over. I always have the courtesy to give them the courtesy of a call and ask. I promised all my customers I would never send somebody over to their home, a stranger, to look at their barns without me being there. And when people get to see those barns and choose the options that they want, they see different, I can take them to Al's barn, for example, especially if they're professional horse people. And they can see all the options and the things that he chose. Mm-hmm. And they're things that they didn't think about, even though they might be a professional as well. And they'll go, that's what we want in our barn. We want this, something just like this, only we want it on the other end of the barn. And so whatever people need from a dealer, and folks, there's dealers across the nation, and whatever you need from the dealer, we're out there as a team to provide whatever service you need.
Sure.
In these areas where they need building permits, the process alone can be a nightmare, and we can eliminate that from being your nightmare. We'll take that nightmare and we'll run with it, and we'll see your barn through to the finish.
Well, thanks for the call, Connie. We want to hear from you, the viewers. If you would like to join us, our telephone line's open here, toll-free 877-731-6733. Line's open. We're going to take our last break here, come back, talk to you, we hope, and also tell you about a special offer from MDBarnmaster tonight. If you haven't heard that, Bruce and I will be talking about that coming up here in a couple of minutes as we continue here on Rural America's most important network. Stay with us. Welcome back to RFD-TV Live. Our friends from MDBarnmaster coming to our program for the first time here, and you, by watching tonight, have a special opportunity. If you like what you see, and we know you do, you have an opportunity to add to that barn someday. And Bruce, tell us about that special offer just for our viewers tonight.
All right, our special offer for 2 hours after the show ends, you can call the 800 number that you've been given, and we'll make note of that. And if you buy a barn anytime, take your time, buy the barn you want, we will give you a free round pen to go with that.
What does that mean? Or they say, well, I don't know what a round pen is.
Okay,
Bruce.
a round pen is a training device, we make different types. Our offer will include 2 different types. Basically a steel panel round pen,
okay,
which most people are familiar with. And
sure,
then we also have a solid wall round pen for the bigger barn buyers that we are going to offer also for free. And it's like a 40-foot circle. It's for training young horses, working with horses on the ground and in the saddle. It's a great tool. Something that you may not ordinarily buy, but if it comes with a barn.
There you go. All right, so that's it again tonight, 2 hours after the program just for you viewers watching us tonight. And for you to join us now live here on our program right now, our toll-free number, 877-731-6733. Lines open and time is getting away from us here. We'd like to spend more time. We are going to spend some time talking about the different series. You have three basic areas to cover here quickly to kind of walk our viewers through.
And it's on the website, which I gave earlier, but there used to be two separate brands, Barnmaster and MD. We've actually combined those into one brand with different models. The Ranch series, the Barnmaster Ranch series, is sort of our utilitarian entry level. Our Estate series is a little higher finishes. It's designed for those who are really more into aesthetics to match their properties and so forth. Different finishes, same basic qualities, fireproof, kick-through proof, chew-proof. And the new thing that we're really excited about is our new series of stalls called the Elite Stall System. And what we've done is something the company had not done before, and that is we've created a set of classic design stalls around sort of the European look with powder-coated finishes, exotic hardwood inserts, really designed for high-end estate-type buildings, including if somebody has an existing building, it can be retrofitted with these stalls.
Very good. And I know of those three, and we have some photos here of one of the kind of your favorite, Dick. We wanted to spend some time on that Estate series that you really like to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I'm especially proud of this one because it's a barn that we just finished last week, and it's the first Estate series in the state of Arizona. And this barn, as you're seeing this, you can see it's very clean lines. There is really no place for birds to light. It's going to keep your barn so much cleaner and just fresher. This barn here has a hay loft, and I think Mr. Parelli was talking about a loft earlier. Yeah, and there's their loft doors. They're going to be putting their hay up in there with a conveyor belt. Here's your, we just missed the wash rack and the swivel tack wall. There you go. It's just, this is a very beautiful, classy looking building. We have the yoke doors with the vertical spruce fronts, and that spruce, by the way, is a real tongue and groove. It's 2x6. It isn't just a laminate. This is a 612 pitch, 16-foot aisle breezeway barn with a side porch. And these people are ecstatic about it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful barn to go into. And
then maybe in the last series, or that Elite Stall series, maybe if you want to spend a little bit more time on that, like you say, it's the classic European style.
Yes, it is. A lot of our market had been Western market, and we realized that there's demand for the kind of safe and type product for the other types of barns. So we've designed this with really appearance in mind, but it still operates as handily as our existing product. It has all the safety features, the steel lining on the inside of the barn, won't spread fire. There's no wood to chew on the inside of the barn. They can't kick the wood out because it's sheathed in metal. So it has all the features, but they're beautiful barn.
Absolutely. All right.
Systems.
Again, toll free for you to join us here on our telephone lines with our time remaining here. Toll free 877-731-6733. Lines open here for the time we have remaining. We talk about Barnmaster, MD Barnmaster being more cost effective. There's a couple things, Bruce, you wanted to make sure we covered there.
Well, cost effective includes the initial price, and with the materials are very comparable to other types of barns. Where we really shine is installation. They can be built in 1 or 2 days instead of weeks. And then also over time, there's no repairs of wood components that are chewed or kicked out. This doesn't have to be refinished constantly. The maintenance costs are lower. You can clean it quicker. You can ride your horse more.
So or train them.
Or train them, right. So, very cost effective, very price competitive and cost-effective.
And speaking of that, financing, wow.
Yeah.
I think our viewers are going to really latch on and pay attention here now and talk about, well, will I be able to afford it? What about financing and qualifying? Right. You can help them out.
As everybody knows, with current banking conditions, financing is pretty tough. And we tried to find conventional financing for the barns, and in the end, the tribe decided to finance them themselves. So they put up the money to finance barns up to a $40,000 barn. Very fast process. We have online application, usually the same day or the next day approval, and very, very simple process to finance barns.
And let's go to North Carolina. We have a caller who took us up on our offer. Nancy from North Carolina, you're up and welcome to our program.
Yes, hi, thank you. I'm wondering how your barns do in both cold weather or hurricanes. How are they connected to the earth?
All right.
Yeah, let me handle that. All of the barns, whether you require building permits or not, are engineered, and they're engineered to your location. So if you have hurricanes, we go up to whatever the ratings are in your location. And as far as, so she asked about hurricanes and
summer in the mountains,
the
snow.
Temperature, yes. A lot of the barns in the southern areas, we try to leave openings for airflow, like in Al's barn. But we also have fully enclosed and insulated. We do a 2-inch wall with rigid foam insulation between the panels so that we can build a barn that has insulation qualities in our standard barn.
All right, real quick, Sarah from Ohio. Thank you for calling. You're up next. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Go
How are
ahead.
you all doing tonight?
You're doing fine. Thanks for calling. You go ahead, please.
My husband and I, we have show cattle, and I was wondering if your barns work as well as with cattle as well as they do with horses.
Show cattle.
Yes, I mean, we use them for zebras. No, they're great for show cattle. Again, they're tough, easy to clean. I think for people who have cattle, I have a few cattle, they're not the cleanest all the time. And very easy to keep these barns clean. You can pressure wash them without damaging anything. They're like brand new once you're done. So they work great for all types of animals.
Very good. Well, we've come to that time. We're going to need to start to wrap things up, and we want to make sure each of you have an opportunity to leave some final thoughts with our viewers. Time goes so fast here. But Al, what's so great to see you and meet you in person. Your final thoughts for viewers.
Well, I think everything's really been said. I mean, we're talking about a high-quality barn that has so many wonderful options. I'll tell you what's interesting, though. While we sit here talking about this, I built my barn 13 years ago. And all the new things that MD Barns has, I mean, some people go through building a house or building a barn, and it's a nightmare. But I would love to build another barn and get some of the new options that MD has.
Well, I know who a guy can. Yeah.
I think it would be a dream instead of a nightmare. Yeah. There you go. So that's my final thoughts. Is that this is a wonderful company.
Good to meet you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
And Dick, you as well. I'm glad you didn't sell those pots and pans way back then.
Well, you know what? I am too now, and the timing was right. My final thought is. I want to direct to Al real quick. You will get a round pin.
All right, thank you.
No, but anyway, there is one thing I want to leave your audience with, and that is, a barn is a major investment. It's something that you can take with you if you relocate. And that's a protected investment.
All right. We didn't talk about that, but that's another great point. 30 seconds. You have the final word, Bruce.
First of all, thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank Al. Al, I want to tell people, the first horse book I ever read was your reining book. It was great. To the viewers, we're looking forward to working with the viewers individually and taking care of them individually, and we couldn't be more excited than to have this opportunity.
And they have special offer. They call that toll-free number right there, 800 number. They're going to be in there for a special round pen tonight.
Right.
All right, MD Barnmaster, thanks for joining us on Rural America's most important network. Good night.